Many people are not too happy with David Goyer, who is the writer of Man of Steel's comments on a recent podcast about She-Hulk and what he had to say, also about Martian Manhunter, because it's Attack Green Superhero season, according to David S. Goyer. So on this podcast, it was on a panel with Andrea Berloff, Christopher Marcus, Stephen McFeely, and podcast hosts John August and Craig Mazin, and they somehow found their way to the topic of Martian Manhunter, being that Martian Manhunter is a key member of the Justice League. Justice League movie is coming up next after, it'll be the third, I believe, in the Man of Steel series. And he had things to say.
He started by saying, how many people in the audience have heard of Martian Manhunter? There was a smattering of applause. And then, how many people that just raised their hands have ever been laid? So, start off on the wrong foot with your audience.
Warming up the crowd, yeah.
Outdated stereotypes.
And then he goes on to say,
get some.
he can't be fucking called the Martian Manhunter because that's goofy. He could be called the Manhunter. The whole deal with the Martian Manhunter is that he's an alien living among us. So he comes down to Earth and decides, unlike Superman, who already exists in the world now, that he's just going to be a homicide detective. So instead of using superpowers and mind reading, he can figure out if the president's lying. He just decides to disguise himself as a human homicide detective. Dare to dream, man.
Okay, first of all, that's not really how it works. He doesn't forget about his powers or his Green Martian past, or the fact that all of his people are freaking dead and he's alone in the universe.
So the worst part about this, he goes on to give what he would do for Martian Manhunter. This is David S. Goyer's pitch. I would set it up like the day after tomorrow, where we discover one of those Earth-like planets, so maybe like we get the DNA code from that planet, because that's a thing you can do, and then grow him in a petri dish here, and he's like in Area 51 or something, and we're basically just doing biopsies on him, and then he gets out and he's really angry and he fucks She-Hulk.
That's not it!
That's not how any of this works.
It's not just a generic alien. Martian Manhunter has a great backstory. He's not just an alien. That's not the core of his being. He's a man who's everyone he's ever loved is dead.
Right.
The Green Martians are extinct. He's come to Earth. He doesn't forget his superpowers. He uses them to help people still.
And I love the whole kind of film noir aspect to it, and the gumshoe. It was a choice. It was something to make it different, as opposed to Mr. Goyer's attempt to generalize it into another
Do you think he was just trying to be
format.
Cool in this podcast and edgy? Because these things he said are really, really off base. I feel like he should understand the character a little bit better than this.
I feel as though, he's a writer, he can give his own pitch and angle on stuff. Unfortunately, he's kind of in charge of the DC cinematic universe.
So that's a problem.
Which means he's got, people to answer to. He's got a responsibility to the brand to sort of do it justice.
Yeah, and when you see someone...
No pun intended?
A dawn of justice, perhaps? Yeah. When you see someone with that power acting in this way, it's disheartening.
Well, speaking of disheartening, let's move on to She-Hulk, because comments were also said about her. I was thinking of the woman who's the voice of Mallory Archer. Jennifer Walters is She-Hulk. She's Bruce Banner's cousin. She's an attorney. She's sexually empowered. She was a new kind of woman when she was or female superhero character when she was created in 1980 by Stan Lee and John Buscema. So there's a little excerpt of what happened on the podcast here. Host Craig Mazin said, "The real name for She-Hulk was Slut Hulk. That was the whole point, right? Let's just make her this green chick with enormous boobs, and she's Hulk strong, but not Hulk massive, right? She's real lean, stringy." Goyer says, "She's still pretty chunky. She was like China from the WWE." Mazin, "The whole point of She-Hulk was just to appeal sexistly to 10-year-old boys. Worked on me." Here it comes. Goyer, "I have a theory about She-Hulk. She was created by a man, right? And at the time, in particular, I think 95% of comic book readers were men, and certainly almost all of the comic book writers were men. So, the Hulk was this classic male power fantasy. It's like most of the people reading comic books were these people like me who were just these little kids getting the shit kicked out of them every day. And so then they created She-Hulk, right? Who was still smart. I think She-Hulk was the chick you could fuck if you were the Hulk. You know what I'm saying? She-Hulk was the extension of the male power fantasy. So it's like, I'm going to be this geek who becomes the Hulk, and let's create a giant green porn star that only the Hulk could fuck."
Seems legit.
No. Okay, first of all, Bruce Banner and Jennifer Walters are cousins. They're not going to fuck,
Right.
okay? We
Right.
don't live in Game of Thrones world where that's okay. It's still gross.
Right. Well,
Secondly, a lot of female superheroes have enormous breasts. That's just the way they're drawn. And a lot of the males are also drawn as impossibly
Some of
buff.
them have enormous breasts too.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and say that does take its roots in sexism. And
Yeah.
The overly sexualized female heroine superheroes.
But
definitely.
my point here is she's not exceptional to the sexy superhero route. She's sexually, like, she's in control of her sexuality. She's very open about her sexuality. That doesn't make her this giant slut for us to fuck, but only if you're Hulk, which is not. It's a
I think he's
massive misunderstanding.
just generalizing again, like he was with the fan base. You know, it's something that.
All of you are virgins, right?
Right.
You want to fuck this one chick?
Yeah.
I don't understand
falling
where
back
this
on
is coming
stereotypes
from.
Yep,
and
exactly.
showing that he doesn't have a real knowledge of the source material.
Right.
In
right.
response, Stan Lee said,
This is the best.
"Greetings, true believers." No, we didn't say that. "I know I was looking for a new female superhero, and the idea of an intelligent Hulk type grabbed me. Never for an instant did I want her as a love interest for Hulk. Only a nut would even think like that."
Drop the mic. Done. Stan the man.
Out.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
agree with you.
I mean, some of the great things that make She-Hulk a memorable character is that she is intelligent. She is,
a lawyer.
She's a lawyer,
Yeah.
Well,
right.
she's green all the time, and she's taken ownership of that.
which was a choice of hers.
I'm green all the time. I don't care. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to own it.
Yeah.
I'm a fully actualized human being.
Empowered.
Yes.
Empowered. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever read any She-Hulk comics, but they're funny. She breaks the fourth wall all the time.
Well, yeah, it
her
has to
shtick.
be,
She
right?
goes out on dates with like guys,
Right.
and like things go weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's quirky.
Wacky.
Yeah, single
again,
female
that's-
lawyer style. You know.
Single female lawyer getting. I don't know the song.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, but I think that's greatly misunderstanding not just the fun of the character, but also who the character was created as and her goal. It's a really sexist double standard, I think.
Yep.
So he doesn't understand fun, independent, empowered women heroes. He doesn't understand dark, brooding, mysterious
Right.
Also
heroes.
to say that she's this woman that only Hulk could fuck is weird because Bruce Banner had several love interests who were not green or Hulks
Right.
at all. And so does she. It's
true,
like saying,
right.
oh, you can only have sex with someone who looks like you, which is fucked up.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother topic.
I mean,
isn't
what's
it?
the Superman theory that he can only have sex with Wonder Woman because anyone else he would like blow apart
That's
like a tissue?
weird theory that I think has been debunked. And it's like,
Studies have
Superman,
been conducted.
Superman doesn't get with Supergirl. That's also disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
why would you even?
Yeah.
It's this whole story makes me think like, why?
David
do
S.
you
Goyer
do
should be
this?
writing fan fiction.
That's
in
what
my
it sounds
opinion.
like.
Yeah.
This is some good Slash material,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
maybe that's a
He missed
future
his
career
calling.
change. Yeah.
Warning lemon smut. Yeah. All of that aside, this shows a severe misunderstanding of characters from both the world he controls right now and beyond. And it's very worrisome to me. What do you make of all of this? Was it maybe you were misunderstanding it? Let us know what you think below in the comments. And please be sure to subscribe and explain this to me.